Wow, Marjorie Taylor Greene turning against Donald Trump in public, throwing him under the bus, and issuing a warning as it relates to a few topics, as it relates to the release of the Epstein files, which she's demanding, which Trump is covering up, also as it relates to healthcare. And she says that her party needs to focus more on bringing down the costs of healthcare and not causing Americans to suffer more pain with increased premiums. Here's what she says. She goes, "I told Trump and his cabinet officials, you didn't get me elected. I do not work for you. I work for my district." And she went on to say the following: "We, Republicans, aren't supposed to just be whipped on our votes because they're telling us what to do with this scary threat, or saying we'll primary you, or that we won't get invited to the White House events. Me personally, I don't care." And then she told the New York Times when she encountered such tactics from Trump's team, she said, "I'm like, fuck you," she says, "I'm like, F you." But she actually said the curse. That's what she said to the Trump administration. And look what she's been posting yesterday. She goes, "Hi, this is your daily reminder that insurance has become unaffordable for most Americans. Health, auto, and home. I wish my party would make this a priority." Now, she's saying this at the critical moment of the government shutdown, where that's the position of the Democrats. Frankly, that's the position where the Americans are right now. Overwhelmingly, over 70% of Americans want the Affordable Care Act subsidies extended, because without it, healthcare costs for Americans, it's going to go up 3 to 4, 5 times a month. So someone paying $300 to $500 a month for their healthcare premiums, they may soon be paying $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and that's unaffordable. So then Marjorie Taylor Greene posts the following about the Affordable Care Act subsidies. She goes, "I was not in Congress when all this Obamacare Affordable Care Act bullshit started. I got here in 2021. As a matter of fact, the Affordable Care Act made health insurance unaffordable for my family after it was passed, with skyrocketing premiums higher than our house payment." Not really sure if that's true. She comes from a wealthy family. Her dad started a construction business. Her husband was her former husband was the person who ran that construction business. And then there was the issue with, I think she was with a yoga instructor and all these other things. Anyway, let's just say as nicely as possible, I'm not a fan. But she goes on to say, "But I'm going to go against everyone on this issue, because when the tax credits expire this year, my own adult children insurance premiums for 2026 are going to double, along with all the wonderful families and hardworking people in my district. No, I'm not towing the party line on this or playing loyalty games. I'm a Republican, and I won't vote for illegals to have any taxpayer-funded healthcare benefits. I'm America only. I'm carving my own lane. And I'm absolutely disgusted that health insurance premiums will double if the tax credits expire this year. Also, I think health insurance and all insurance is a scam, just to be clear. Not a single Republican in a leadership talked to us about this or has given us a plan to help Americans deal with their health insurance premiums doubling. Our country sent $30 billion to Israel in 2024. Could pause there, Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're also sending right now $20 billion to Argentina for Donald Trump to bail out Javier Milei, the MAGA puppet in Argentina, who's bankrupted that country. And we're throwing good money at bad because he's just going to burn through that $20 billion as he's destroyed the currency there. But I digress. Marjorie Taylor Greene says, "Our country sent $30 billion to Israel in 2024 alone, killing countless innocent children, and sent hundreds of billions to Ukraine in the past few years. By the way, I voted no to all of that murder. America has funded the Ukrainian government, Ukrainian pensions, and Ukrainian businesses during this entire stupid war that America should have nothing to do with." I obviously disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene there. I think the threat that Russia poses to Ukraine and the genocide going on Russia to Ukraine is something that needs to be addressed with. But Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks that shouldn't be the case. But let me go on and read more. All our country does is fund foreign countries and foreign wars and never does anything to help the American people. It is absolutely shameful, disgusting, and traitorous that our laws and policies screw the American people so much that the government is shut down right now, fighting over basic issues like this. Shameful, disgusting, and traitorous that our laws and policies screw the American people. I mean, she's referring to Donald Trump right there. I mean, Trump's the government right now, and they're the ones who refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies or put forward another plan that you think is better than Obamacare, which is the Affordable Care Act, that you think is going to make healthcare more accessible and affordable. I've got one. It's called universal healthcare, where all Americans get healthcare for free. That's my view. What's your view, Donald? What's your view, Marjorie Taylor Greene? She goes on to say, again, no funding for illegals and any benefits for them, but we have to do something about the absolutely insane cost of insurance for Americans. You don't hate your government enough. I'm here in Washington, D.C. this week to meet with anyone who is America only and will work with me on a plan for Americans. And she shows that people in her district will end up paying 3, 4, 5 times what their monthly premiums are, and they're going to go medically bankrupt. Again, I just want to be clear. There's a lot of statements there that I don't agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene, but what I do agree is that healthcare needs to be affordable. I also agree that the Affordable Care Act has problems. And by the way, we're trying to fix those problems. We should try to make it better. One way we've made it better is through these subsidies to lower costs. But the way I think you make it better is you make healthcare universal. But let's also be clear, the Affordable Care Act, Medicare, Medicaid, that money is not going to undocumented migrants. There's only a very limited situation where it does. If an undocumented migrant shows up in an emergency room, there's something called EMTALA, the Emergency Medical Treatment Act. It was existing under Reagan and George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, Clinton, Obama, etc. This is not a controversial law, and it's not paying the undocumented migrant for their health insurance. It's reimbursing a doctor for providing emergency medical services, regardless of who the individual is, because in our country, we believe that if someone shows up to an emergency room, you don't let them die. That's it. That's the issue. So at a federal level, that's the only issue that addresses anything about undocumented migrants. And so it's all BS that's being spewed by MAGA Republicans. But she also calls the MAGA Republicans the good old boy Republicans. She goes, the good old boy Republicans have been in control of Georgia for over 20 years. While there are things I appreciate, there are others that are unacceptable. It's appalling our education is ranked 30 or above in the nation, and our taxes are insane. High taxes like we are governed by Democrats, she says. Republicans never govern like they campaign. Republicans never govern like they campaign. And I just want to fact check her as well. I mean, look, in California, we're the 4th largest GDP in the entire in the entire world. If California was a country, we're basically subsidizing most of the states, of the red states in the United States of America, in California. So you could hate on California all you want, but it's also a giver state. It gives $85 billion more than it takes. Texas is a taker state. It takes $75 billion more than it gives. Marjorie Taylor Greene also posted this message a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. I'm not suicidal and one of the happiest, healthiest people you will meet. I have full faith in God and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. As a sinner, I am only saved through his grace and mercy. With that said, if something happens to me, I ask you all to find out which foreign government or powerful people would take heinous actions to stop the information from coming out, not only about this issue, but because of the truth that I have been speaking. The people will understand what I'm saying. I mean, as I read it, she's basically saying that either Trump or Israel or some other country, I mean, you could read what she's implying based on her other statements. I think that's what she's saying, that some foreign government's going to kill her, or that Trump's going to, or that the current regime or government could. I don't know specifically what she's saying, but that's a odd message to post as she's critical of the regime. Now, she goes and says other things that are pro-Trump still, and she says a lot of xenophobic and hateful things, and I'm nowhere near giving her a pass or even close to it. I'm simply showing you that during this critical government shutdown time period where Democrats, and I think most, set aside Democrats, most Americans are like, you got to extend these Affordable Care Act subsidies. She's saying, I agree. We have to extend these. Obamacare, Affordable Care Act has its flaws, but we can't have the premiums double or triple or quadruple right now. So here's what Donald Trump said yesterday in the Oval Office while all of this was going on, and Marjorie Taylor Greene was saying that. Would you make a deal with Democrats on the Affordable Care Act subsidies? And Trump's like, if we made the right deal, I'd make a deal. Sure. Here, play this clip.
Would you make a deal with them on the ACA subsidies?
If we made the right deal, I'd make a deal, sure.
So you would make a
I mean, you have right now subsidies. You have subsidies. That's the problem with Obamacare. The subsidies are so much. It's billions and billions of dollars is being wasted. And we can have a much better health care than we have right now. And we're talking to them. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen because this has also been going on, not for 3,000 years, but it's been going on for a long time. But yeah, we're talking to the Democrats.
You would work to make a deal with them on.
I'd like to see a deal made for great health care. Yeah, I want to see great health. I'm a Republican, but I want to see health care much more so than the Democrats.
Then Donald Trump says the following as it relates to Ghislaine Maxwell. You saw what Marjorie Taylor Greene's been saying about the Epstein files, release them, that she's not going to remove her name from the discharge petition, and that she tells the Trump officials to go F yourself when they threaten her. But this is what Trump said about Ghislaine yesterday. Play this clip.
The Supreme Court is back and said that they rejected today an appeal by Ghislaine Maxwell to overturn her conviction. That means her only chance of getting out of prison is a pardon from you. Is that something you're...
Who are we talking about?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
I haven't heard the name in so long. I can say this, that I'd have to take a look at it. I would have to take a look. Did they reject that?
She wanted to appeal her conviction.
And what happened?
They said that they were not going to hear her appeal.
I see. Well, I'll take a look at it. I will speak to the DOJ. I wouldn't consider it or not consider it. I don't know anything about it. So, but I will speak to the DOJ.
Why would she be a candidate for clemency, sir?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to speak to the DOJ. I'll look at it. I have a lot of people who have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy has asked me for a pardon.
But she was convicted of child sex trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to take a look at it. I'd have to ask DOJ. I didn't know they rejected it. I didn't know she was even asking for it, frankly.
There you have it. It's pretty clear what's going on here. So I'm just reading you what her messages are and what she's saying. I find that interesting. Tell me what you think. Hit subscribe, especially at this critical time. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million, and thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.